At 37, how would I date now is a hell of a lot different than what I would date when I was 17, 18, 19. Oh, hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm like, so, ooh. You're the new high shot hurler that I didn't hear so much about on the track team.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Tiffany Ofili Porter, where I discuss all things life after sport. As you can see here, I have a special guest with me. Do you want me to introduce you?
Nope, you got it.
Okay, so this is Jeff Porter, my husband of 12 years.
Don't get that wrong.
The father of our children, my best friend, my homeboy. And we're here to kind of give a little bit of our love story, how we met, and maybe even some tips at the end if we're feeling up to it.
That's on you.
You ready to get into it?
Let's go.
We met when I was 17 years old. He was 19 on the University of Michigan track team, Go Blue. And he likes to tell it that I went and friended everybody on Facebook. I don't quite remember if that happened, but I'm going to let him have it. And then we met on the track. I thought he was cute, and the rest is history.
Okay, so no. So what happened is that's the baseline is accurate, right? You were 17, I was 19. You showed up at campus, and you showed up because you had just friended everybody on the track team, right? Because I know this because you had a nice little picture of you going over to her. And I was like, who is this? Her technique is horrid.
Okay, it was definitely not horrid.
Horrid.
Don't come for me. He ended up coaching me later on, guys. We'll talk about that later.
when you friended everybody, and I said, well, we saw you, right? And we was like, who is it? Oh, hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm like, so, ooh. Oh, you're the new high shot hurler that I didn't hear so much about on the track team. Okay, great, awesome. Well, welcome to Michigan. And you know what? Because what happens is all the cute girls want to go hang out with all the popular guys, and track team wasn't really a popular guy at this point. You know what I'm saying? So we thought that she was gonna go hang out because all the other people had a great time on campus before they got to campus. It was like, you know what? She gonna be one of those same folks. So she showed up campus. Talking about she was All-American this, Gatorade Michigan Athlete. Yeah, she was all-state, all-conference, record holder. I'm like, okay, so I'm sorry, but this is college now, so what you did in high school don't really matter.
Okay, let me interject. Yes, there's a lot to the story. And when I did get on campus, I met him. I thought he was cute. He was very arrogant, so I was very turned off by that. I was like, I want nothing to do with this guy. Yeah. Here's the thing. Our coaches, when they first saw us, they were like, y'all gonna end up being married. And I was like, what? No,
your coach.
Okay, well, my coaches, I had two coaches. Shout out to Coach Henry and Coach Chiz. They were like, y'all gonna end up being married. We can see the chemistry. Y'all gonna fall in love. And I was like, absolutely not. I didn't like him. I thought he was just too much. I was like, he's always feeling himself. I mean, yeah, he was cute, but I wanted no parts of it. And then here we are 18 years later, and they were right.
We get through the whole fall season, and then all of a sudden, we got to do our hurdle training. And the women want to hurl at a different time than the guys. And I was like, okay, so no, I'm not doing that. So I told your coach, I told my coach, yo, we're all hurling at the same time, because if she's this good, then she gonna have to show me.
One thing I also want to say that you did mention earlier is that you guys thought that all the freshmen were going to be chasing the football players. And that is pretty typical. The football players tend to be the more popular guys on campus. But funny enough, my brother played football at the University of Michigan prior to me going there. And he put me to the side and said, Tiffany, if you see a football player, you run the opposite way.
Well, see, that
literally, because that was really important.
Well, that key detail was kept from me for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't know that your brother was on the team. Because your brother was there for 2 years, so we intersect for 2 years.
Yeah, there was an overlap with them, not so much for us, my brother and I. But I will say, because I went into it saying, okay, whatever it's gonna be, it's not gonna be a football player, I was more open. So I think this is kind of tip number one for my ladies. Let me just mention it. That's chasing the popular guy or following the crowd and what everybody else is doing can make you block on your blessing. Because look, he wasn't in the football player package, but look how fine my husband is, and he's very well accomplished.
That's first thing, right? Secondly, I was not Nigerian.
Yes, I am Nigerian, and that was one thing that growing up, my parents were like, oh, try to marry a Nigerian, blah, blah, blah. But I've always kind of done what I wanted to do.
Well, so again, so when we first met, right? So we get to the indoor season, and she couldn't stand me, right? So we're racing, and every time we lined up, that I hopped in that behind.
Like I said,
every single
he was very, very arrogant. He likes to call it confident. I tell him that he tiptoes on the line between arrogance and confidence. But babe, just tell them kind of why you were attracted to me?
After a few months on campus and finally get to know you, I'm like, okay, she's a nice girl. Because I'm genuine. And I was like, okay, I don't like her. She's all right. She's not like the rest of them.
I used my charm on them, guys.
And so,
just kidding.
So I ended up hanging out somehow. And then you realize we actually had a real first interaction besides me talking trash to you on the track.
Yeah.
At that time, I was like, okay, she's cute.
I do remember my roommate, shout out to Gina Gall. She was dating your roommate in college at the time.
Yes.
And they were having like a kickback at their apartment to watch The Real World. And Gina was like, Tiff, come over. He has a single roommate. And I was like, who was his roommate? And she told me it was another guy. And I was like I'm not interested. Y'all go ahead, have fun. She said, oh, wait. I just saw on Facebook, he's actually rooming with Jeff Porter. I said, Jeff Porter? I'll come over and watch a little bit of The Real World, literally. So on that very first conversation, I don't even know if you remember this, but we were chatting about, I think like just performance enhancing drugs and drug cheats or something like that.
Yes, our very first conversation was about the alcohol scandal.
Yes.
And taking performance enhancing drugs.
And my first impression of this guy was, ooh, he is fine and intelligent. He can hold a conversation. Baby, I was smitten.
Why were you surprised that I could have a conversation?
I wasn't surprised. I was just excited about it. I mean, to be fair, some of the guys that I knew in the past weren't really that bright. So, I mean, intelligence has always been very important to me.
So, you know that idea, the cute girl going for the guy, not exactly the upstanding individual.
I don't know what you're talking about. I went for the upstanding individual, hence the reason why we're together now. Fast forward, how do we actually get together?
Late February 2006.
Yeah.
We were on a bus trip because we were going to the last chance meet to qualify for the NCAA Indoor Championships. So we were on the bus together for the first time from Ann Arbor to South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, I remember. And that we were like, okay, well, do you want to get together? Do you want to make it official?
It was so cool. It was like, hey, you want to start dating? Sure.
Literally. And then after that, everybody was like, we knew it. We knew y'all were going to get together. And babe, they were right though. But my thing is, do you remember how much time we spent together in college? We were inseparable.
The other interesting caveat is I was upperclassman, so I had a car.
Yes.
Right? And so you lived 6.2 miles away from campus.
How does he know the exact?
And
this is what I'm talking about.
The reason I know
Smart
you're 6.2
no
because you have a younger sister. And your mom used to call you and say, hey, Tiffany, can you come back and do Cindy's hair?
That's true.
And so you didn't have the car yet.
So he used to drive me. We talk a little bit about the importance of being open and just being receptive to people.
I had a preconceived notion about what you were, who you were. And so I had no idea about you. So part of what I had to learn was to give folks a chance.
Yeah.
Right. And through that experience, I found that it was helpful to open myself up to say, well, here's who I am. And so have a real honest conversation with you.
I think sometimes we go into interactions or just relationships making judgments prematurely. And sometimes that can stand in the way of your blessing. So I do know that we were incredibly fortunate to find each other in college, and not everybody might be in that situation. But I think just the importance of being willing to build with somebody. I was 17, he was 19. He didn't even really know the direction you wanted to go. I think our personalities definitely do complement each other.
My twin brother, when he found out I was dating you and then saw you race for the first time, he was like, is that your girlfriend? It's like, yo, how do y'all interact? It was like, cause she's type A and I'm more laid back.
Yeah, that's another tip to sometimes consider. You might have attraction to somebody, you might vibe with them, but do your personalities actually mesh? Really in the beginning stages, before you even get too far invested, evaluate that person's personality and say, can we even get along?
What sealed the deal for you was that we found out my dad was sick in December of that year. Yeah, December 2006. I found out he was sick, and then you were with me through that whole ordeal, and subsequently showed up when he eventually died. So you got a lot of kudos for the family.
Oh, okay. You said what sealed the deal for me so you mean for you?
For me and my family, it sealed the deal because they hadn't really met you. All of a sudden, here you are being a supportive. Especially one of the worst times in my life. Yeah, for sure. I think obviously we were involved romantically. He was my boyfriend, but legit though, you were my best friend. So if my best friend's father passed, of course I'm going to go and support them. May he rest in peace. Yeah. A lot of times people are looking for their spouse in different stages in life. So me at
27 or 36 might be looking for something very different when you're 17. But I think wanting to build with somebody, being open and knowing that college is a great opportunity to meet your spouse. Let me reiterate, if you can, just try to find a partner, because it's just such a breeding ground for love. Question. You know what I mean? Like, so many opportunities.
I think the point of wherever you are in your life, you got to make yourself available, but also you may have to take yourself out of your comfort zone. So like,
that's a good one.
Me at 37, how would I date now is a hell of a lot different than what I would date when I was 17, 18, 19, right? Because I was college. College is right there. But if I'm out of college, where am I going? Am I going to the bar, to the clowns? Like, what type of person are you trying to attract?
Actually, let's get into that real quick. Okay. Real quick, out of curiosity. So Jeff at 37, about to be 38. How would your approach to dating be different now at 37 versus when you were 19 when we met?
I wanted somebody that could be good on my arm, right? And could be a good mother, someone that could be a good wife. And so I'd be looking at places where we have some commonality. I love supporting Black-owned businesses, as an example, and so I would probably go to like a Black-owned lounge.
Okay.
The one place we were at in Cincinnati, and I forgot the name of it, that was a good spot. Now it's a potential, like you show up, you have good vibes, good music, and maybe you might strike up a conversation.
When you were 19, that weren't thinking, oh, is she going to be a good mother? Oh, is she going to...
19, I was thinking,
yeah, so that is something to consider as well. Meeting somebody at 17 and 19 is very different than meeting them when you're in your 30s.
In academic work, there's a thing called happenstance theory, and this theory is that you prepare yourself for the eventuality that something could happen. So you stack the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
There you go. So we were happened to be at the same point at the same time. We're in a place we're looking for, somebody to date.
Yeah.
So we put ourselves in the best opportunity to do so. So one of the things you have to understand is that sometimes we just have to be in the right place at the right time, and then see the opportunity when it presents itself.
Very true. Okay, I got a good question. Sorry, that just led me to something. Okay, now that we are a mother of 2 kids, a 4-year-old girl and a 6-month.
You are a mother of 2 kids.
A parent of 2 kids. I'm so used to saying that. How would you advise your children in dating? I know we're so far beyond that, and you hate thinking about Chi dating anybody. How would you advise them in terms of like looking for a partner? Jeffrey, answer the question, please.
How would I advise her?
Yes.
The same thing I tell her right now, you need to be a nice girl.
A nice girl, yeah, that's important.
No. That is extremely important, because your looks are only going to take you so far.
Yeah.
If you're a nice person and a genuine person, right, there's more opportunity there. That's the first thing. Secondly, it's what kind of guy are we looking for? So think about it. Chidera has to bring home somebody that has to beat me.
God bless that baby. This man crazy, y'all.
Other things you gotta look at, maybe opportunity in college for somebody who has who's not quite there yet, right? Because I wasn't quite there yet in college.
So the importance of building with somebody.
Build somebody, right?
Okay. I definitely would encourage my kids, if possible, to be very intentional in those early years to find somebody that they can vibe with and build with. I think just because that's worked for us, and we know the importance of like working together and like being each other's person and just literally building a foundation, and like look at us now 18 years later. But for the person who is 35, the woman or man who's 35 looking for a spouse, would you say something different, or would it be?
First and foremost, again, 35, there's some things you have to do at that point. But realistically, it's like
some things you got to deal with, like what?
Okay, are you a nice? Listen, let's call it spade a spade. Are you a nice person? Are you a genuine person? Have you been in a relationship, and why haven't relationships worked out? Because it all can't be the other person's fault.
Yeah, so being introspective and evaluating.
So if Chichi's dating somebody, right, and she's been dating people for a while, and all of a sudden she's 35 and she's not even engaged, I'm looking at her like, so how are you treating people? This is the first question, because we can't always point the finger at somebody else.
Okay.
Right. So the second question is like, is our work, our career taking the time away from us being able to fulfill and really have a fulfilling life?
Okay. So making time for dating, being intentional about.
Are you going to be intentional about it, or are you just hoping that somebody comes along your path?
What about JJ, your son at 35? Would the advice be, or just JJ, your son in general, for dating? Would it be different than how you would advise your daughter?
Because men do not have a biological clock if you're born to start family. The challenge I give to JJ is he's also got to find someone that's complement to him. You got to teach him, what quality attributes to look for in a woman.
Okay.
Right. And then if you can't find someone, like, you may need to look elsewhere, right? You need to branch out of your comfort zone and look elsewhere. If you were single, where do you go?
To be honest, you guys, that's another thing. This conversation took a very different turn than what I thought it was going to. If I'm 36 and single in 2023, I would be online dating. I think that is the wave of the future. Two of my cousins found their spouses by online dating. And I feel like there's this weird stigma about online dating. If I were single right now at 36, I would be online dating. Absolutely. Because I think that's just kind of where we are in 2023. And I've seen success stories.
Yeah, I'm probably not doing that.
You really wouldn't? Well, everybody is different. You wouldn't even consider it?
Negative ghostwriter.
Really?
No, probably.
No, but why though? Tell me why.
Like, I feel like I would be able to find a good spouse if I'm intentional about trying to find one, right? If I'm looking at some places where I think a woman that I would want would be, then I think there's an opportunity there.
Let me tell y'all something. Jeff has been so spoiled that he got a good woman that he met when he was 19. That's been rocking with him, supporting him, loving him all this time, that he thinks is just that easy. And I definitely want to pause and like reiterate that we were a little lucky that we found each other so early. And it's just not that easy for everybody. And I get that. So I think just keep that in mind, talking about where the good women would be. If it were that simple, nobody would be single, Jeff.
Well, that's not entirely true, because there's a level of introspection that needs to happen there too.
No, for sure. On both sides though, because he talked earlier.
I didn't make that gender specific.
He talked earlier about women needing to be introspective. I think a lot of guys do too. And this whole conversation, again, this video is going to get really long, so we can make this a series if you guys are interested. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to see more of this type of conversation. But this whole conversation about I'm the prize, he's the prize, I don't like that, because it almost like belittles the other person in the equation. So for instance, if I'm walking around like I'm the prize, don't get me wrong, I'm very confident and I know that my man has a good woman. But at the same time, I know that I have a good man as well. So I think maybe just understanding that both of you guys are the prize.
You don't want my opinion on that. That's another video.
That is literally another video.
That would make a lot of people.
I know his opinion on this, but babe, would you agree that I think both people need to understand that they might be the prize, but so is their partner?
I agree with that.
Because sometimes it's just like,
but
the approach is off to me.
Here we go again. It's more of, have we been trained to believe that we are? I mean, I'm not making a gender specific statement. It is, have we been trained to believe that we are the prize and everyone should cater to us? If that is the case, then we need to do some serious self-reflection. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Because no relationship, whether it's platonic, romantic, or otherwise, needs to be one-sided. It needs to be a mutual respect. Like, we're working at this together, and if I'm having a bad day, you can help lift me up, and vice versa. It's not gonna be a situation where one person is pursuing, and just putting on all this effort, and the other person is just laying there like, whatever, I'm the prize, I deserve it. You know what I mean? I agree there.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed the video today. Subscribe, like, comment, and I will tell you this, I'm sure you guys don't want to see me anymore, so love you, honey.
Thank you so much for joining us, JP. I love you, baby. Right. Like you said, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for joining us, guys, and let me know what you want to see from us in the future. Peace.